so we're now recorded, no? Lioren.
Sir, Lioren, present, sir.
Yes. Hanggang 4 o'clock tayo, no? Pusin natin ito. We have to make up. No? So, so far, you were programming the client. No? The web client is the browser. Okay? And then, the server is the client connects with the web server, no? Through the network. Recorded na ito, no? Now, the web client, you may have Chrome, Opera browser, whatever you will have internet. What's the Edge, Microsoft Edge na ngayon, di ba? Okay, there's Pastrano. Let's admit Pastrano. So Microsoft Edge, no? These are the programs that we use, okay, to access the web, no? Okay, so ito yung web client. So this now, when you're accessing the internet, there's a server that will give you your web page. Okay? Okay? So ang this is where the web server softwares run, like IIS, no? I'll show you IIS, no? Apache. Have you used Apache? IIS, ito. Ito yung IIS. It comes with Visual Studio, no? This is the program that manages your websites. This runs your website, no? So when you do when you access the web, there's communication between the browser and the web server. Okay? Okay, yan yung cycle, no? So your client will make a request, no? It's called either a get or a post request. And then depending on the request, the server will give you the correct response. Okay? So nandyan. We have in our in our old website, no? Sa old Daigler, no? I have here a video which I would like you to watch. Yung what HTTP is all about, no? Ito, no? Maganda ito, no? HTTP. I think it's not a video, no? Ayan.
In something called a general header. Okay, so it's basically divided into 3 parts, and there's different fields on each part.
Can you
So
this?
typically,
I'll transfer this na lang, no?
So you want to be a software engineer at Google? Go to algoexpert.io. Pick a question.
I'll transfer this, no?
in many higher level frameworks. So even if you're not familiar with
Okay.
Express
Wala
or
pala
Node,
kayong ano. I was not sure whether you have a background on HTTP. You will have to understand the HTTP protocol, how the web server runs, okay? So ilagay ko na lang dito sa sa bagong Daigler. Okay? This is a very good video. Please watch this, no? No. Wala pa. Okay. Nandito na ba yan? Ito na, nandito na pala.
request bodies. For instance, when you submit a
Okay.
form,
Please watch this, no? Nandito, no? Okay. This explains the whole HTTP protocol, how the client communicates with the server and how the server responds to the client. No? So I'd like you to particularly take note of the different methods like put, get, and post. No? Get, put, and post. Okay? Especially when you are using Django or Laravel, where you have to do a lot of posts. No? Kasi the modern platforms nowadays are stateless. No? Ibig sabihin, they do not record the state of the browser. Okay? Unlike ASP.NET, it's state-based. So, it records the state of the browser. So, the effect with that is, kung stateless yung platform, you will not be able to transfer variables from one page to another. No? Hindi basta-basta mag-pass. You have to use the post post method in order to pass a value from one page to another. No, mahirap 'yang gagawin. Okay? But that's the reality in the modern platforms, no? Kasi stateless na. In our case, we'll be using ASP.NET MVC, which is state-based, no? So we will explain that later, no? Okay? So state-based. Okay. Classic tayo. We will start with the classic ASP.NET and we will go to classic to ASP.NET MVC. If we have time, we will discuss also ASP.NET Core. Parang Django na tayo doon, no? And Laravel. I was not, when I consulted the faculty, I was not advised to do Django here because you will have a different semester just for Django alone, no? So I'd like you to go through this. Okay, let's go through this also, no? What is MVC? Nowadays, MVC is the most common framework. Like you have Laravel, Django, no? ASP.NET Core, and ASP.NET MVC. Okay? MVC is a platform used for handling data. This was originally present in Java. Not JavaScript, but Java. Java ang original nito. No? So, ganito yun. These are three main components for handling data. You will have model, views, and controllers. Your model is your database. No? Nandito yung database. Yung views, yung HTML. Yung controller is actually the part that communicates with the web server. The web server requests will be handled by the controller. The controller will activate the corresponding view. Ibig sabihin, mag-generate siya ng HTML. And the view will call the data from the model. No? That is not the traditional way. That is not the classic way. The classic way is just you will have a web page which will access a database. Two-way lang. Ito tatlo na. Okay? Now, why is this so? This type of a platform is lightweight, no? Because you don't have to do, and you don't have to do SQL yourself, no? Okay? So, lahat ng mga data-related logic is in the model. Nandito naka-declare yung entities, no? Like suppliers, authors, no? Books, no? Yung ating databases, yung tables sa databases, dito naka-declare. The view component, no, is the logic of the application. Nandito yung how to create the components such as text boxes involving HTML. Because when in the server-side programming, you will be programming the server. No? In client-side programming, you are programming the browser. Okay? I hope you distinguish the difference. No? So sa client-side, you are programming the browser. Sa server-side, we are programming the server to generate the correct HTML. So ang gumagawa nun, yung controller, ay yung view part of the MVC. Okay, next, that's the Malario, I think, no? Okay. So, yun yung okay. So the interface is, the controller is the interface between the model and the view. It's actually the component of the platform which interacts with the browser, rather the server itself, no? Ito yung tumatanggap ng requests, no? And then, so ASP.NET MVC is like this, no? It's lightweight because it's MVC. Okay. So ASP.NET MVC and the ASP.NET Core is also MVC. So nandito na, no? Ito yung HTTP different methods, no? Which will come first. First, you have get. Get is actually a method which will get a value from the user. Like when a web page asks for a username, an address, a password, no? Okay. It will make a get request. The user, the server will issue a get request to the client, no? And then post. Post is a method, no? To send data to the server. Nandito yung description, no? Request data from a specified resource. What resource? Like a text box, no? A combo box, no? So ito yung get, no? Ang post will send data to the, is the opposite of get. Okay? It will send data to the server, no? and then create an update to the resource. Now, every post you take will have a variable in the server, no? Which will update that, the server will update that variable inside it. No? Get and post. No? We will use post especially, no, when we pass data or we pass variables between one page to another. No? Okay. So put and post are similar, no? Except that posts are not recommended to be used repeatedly because it will have side effects, no? Kasi the more posts you have, the more multiple events. Okay? Okay. Delete. Delete will delete a resource from the database, no? Or rather from the server. So ito yung difference between get and post. You have to know this and look at the video, no, regarding HTTP protocol. We have a program called Postman. Postman will allow you to make post requests, okay, to a server. Postman is like a web browser. However, it will not render the HTML. It will give you the raw HTML produced, no, by the server every time you do a post request. No? Makikita mo yung code. Instead of rendering the HTML, it will give you the HTML code. Yun yung ginagamit. Postman is used by especially in MVC platforms like Laravel and very useful in Django and Laravel. No? Okay. Let us compare ASP.NET and ASP.NET MVC. There's a long story about this. So itong difference, no? ASP.NET will form traditional event-driven development method, no? So wala siyang MVC. ASP.NET follows model view controller. So ang pagkakaiba nito is event-driven depending on what event occurs on the browser. The server will generate the correct response without going through a controller, which means it will directly access the SQL database and give the result, no? Give the result, no? Using event-driven components. They are called active components, no? Ang ASP.NET for has server controls. This is very useful, no? Ang MVC has only HTML controls, no? They follow. So, kaya ngayon, so many developers are questioning whether Microsoft will phase out ASP.NET. I don't think so. And many people don't think so because of the server controls. No? The server controls allows you to have, these are dynamic server-side controls, which means these are controls which you can control in the server side. No? Ang HTML kasi, you can only control on the client side, right? Now, it's very difficult to format HTML on the server. Okay, you will need HTML helpers and you will need an extra programming language like you will need to have Express.js, no, or PUG, no. So kailangan mo ng third party HTML templating languages in order to change your HTML in the server side. Do you follow? Dito sa you don't have to manipulate HTML because there are server controls, no. We'll show the server controls, no. We'll show examples of this, no. Now, ASP.NET supports view state and management the client side, which means that you can have session variables, no? Dito sa MVC.NET, wala siyang view state, so ang hirap, no? There's an explanation on this, no? The view state, no? Mahirap it will be difficult to send variables from one web page to another, no? We'll show that. I'll give you an example. ASP.NET is URL based, no? ASP.NET MVC is route based, no? We'll make the difference. Ang URL kasi is the actual URL. When you move from page to page, you give the actual URL. Now in MVC.NET and even .NET Core, or Java, rather Laravel and Django, you use routes. No? Routes are actually names inside the server. No? Folders actually. Kung saan folder ka titingin. And the URL will just be represented by these routes. No? Web form syntax. Okay, so ito, hindi na, you'll have a different syntax. No? Ang ASP.NET. We will start with the MVC ASP.NET Classic, and then we will go to ASP.NET MVC. Lightweight daw ito. But ASP.NET is powerful, has powerful rapid development kasi you will have drag and drop, no? ASP.NET is not open source. ASP.NET MVC is open source, no? So libre ang and .NET Core. But ASP.NET Web Form, the whole Visual Studio is now very cheap, no? Murang-mura na, no? Visual Studio 2019 product key. Murang-mura na ngayon ng because eventually Visual Studio will be free, I think, no? Where do we go that? We'll go there. PAs. Dito, no? So this is which sells Visual Studio Microsoft products. This is a website which sells Microsoft products. I'll show you the price, no? We'll search for Visual Studio. How do we search? Tara. Visual Studio. Okay, 2,400. Visual Studio product key, lifetime. The Enterprise Edition is 2,800. No? And then the Professional Edition is 2,480. So, unlike before, this costs about 50,000. No? So, Visual Studio Enterprise is now 2,880. No? Ang murang-mura, no? So, eventually, the difference between open source in ASP and non-open source will be very slim. Okay? Okay? Any questions so far? Let's go back. Now, you know how to install Visual Studio, no? So, wala na tayong problema dyan. So, I'd like you to look at this series, no? This is a very popular series, no? Bakit yun?
Hello.
Let me change this, no? Para direct open. This is a very popular series in ASP.NET, no? It has about 100 plus sessions. I finished about 80 of them. And it's very useful, no? It's not very new, but it's still relevant, no? Because you will still need, no? To create. Ang MVC kasi is only handling of data, no? Bakit ayaw? You just go through this, no? In Facebook, okay? Rather in YouTube. I've finished about 80 of them, and usually mahirap lang sa simula. And then I'll from time to time we'll pick the topics that we need to discuss, that we need to use. Okay, so I assume you have Visual Studio, no? So let's create an ASP.NET project. Ganito lang, no? I'll give you a sample of the projects which I have created. No? Marami na akong na-create which I prepared for this class. No? Okay. Let me open na lang. What's this? So we are on the server side. No? We are programming the server, not the browser. Okay. So this is Visual Studio 2019. The moment it opens, you can open your previous projects, but you can just continue without code. Ganun ang pagkaiba nila sa 2017. I still have my 2017. And then, to create a new project, it's just normal. Now, you have created a new project before. You'll just go through what? Let's go to that process. New project. Let's ASP.NET Web Application. You can use C# or Visual Basic. I recommend you use C# because it's like JavaScript. No? So, kung maglilipat ka sa ibang platforms, it's not very difficult. No? So, you pick .NET Framework 4.72 and click Create. Yeah. Let me open my previous project first. Okay. No, this Create. Let me open. Very simple login project like this. No? Okay. What do you mean download link in Daigler? Download link of Visual Studio.net? Visual Studio ba? You can just Google the download. No? Anyway. Let's run this. No? Simple login. Okay then. Medyo mabagal siya mag-start from magsimula. No? Now, this connects to our old database, demo database, which we have created. Okay. If you have the wrong password, it will give you an simple as that. No? Okay. So, ito yan. We just copy this na lang muna. No? To a notepad, so I will not forget. Another notepad for the code behind ito, no? Code behind. So, we just like developing a normal Windows application. Ang ibig sabihin ng code behind, we will have an HTML which we have a background code which we can manipulate. File, close. Okay. How do we close the project? Close solution, okay. Wala. This is how Visual Studio starts. Now, to create a new project, just go to New File, New Project. Now, we have created a Windows application before, right? This time, we will look for ASP.NET Web Application. Ito, no? So, ito. ASP.NET Web Application. You will have two choices whether you use Visual Basic or Visual C#. Okay? Do you follow? Okay? We'll create an empty project. Okay? First. Okay? So, we'll just go to ASP.NET. Then, we'll click Next. Now, we'll have to, shall we say, we'll have to choose the location where we want to save. Let me, nandito kasi ito, we'll have, I'll make a new folder, no? ASP.NET Student Demos. Okay. Dito tayo mag-create. Web Application 1. Now, you pick this, no? Itong latest, no? 4.7.2. Then, you just click this so that the solution and the project will be on the same folder. No? Okay? You can name this, no? Login. Simple login. Let's create. We'll create an empty. An empty, ano? Then we'll just go. Okay. It's like creating a Windows application, but this time we are creating a web page. Now, if you run this, no? If you run this, so the web server is configured not to, it shows an error because we haven't created a web page. Okay. So which means we have to create the web page first. To create a web page, we'll go to our solution like this. The way we create a Windows form, remember before? No? That's also the same way to create a web page. No? The name of the web page will be .aspx. No? So we will go to add. You know how to do this, right? Add new item. From the new item, we will use a web form. Okay, we'll just finish this, no? We'll go to web form, and then we'll have a break, and then I'll be back quickly, no? We'll have to end in a break because we're done with the 40 minutes, no? Web form, no? So now we have this web form, no? This is the HTML. Now, right away, this is, we can rename this. Rename, we have 5 minutes anyway, no? So I'll say we call this default or home, no? Or home page. Now, if you have your home page, you can edit the code behind. This is you have to rename it also, manually, no? And then the designer itself, no? Ipang-rename mo yung mga code behind. So there's a code behind. We're just writing a Windows application, no? Then you have to change this also, no? 3 things. Okay. Now we can have a simple paragraph here, so we can run this. P. You know what this is already, right? P is paragraph. Hello. Okay. We'll save and then we run. Okay. So, dapat H yung ginamit natin para malaki. O, ayan. Okay. Now we have a web page. Any questions so far? Okay. We need to have a break, no? Because our time is up in WebEx. So please be back, no? I'll be back right away. We'll take a break. Okay. We'll just stop this. Then save. We'll take a break now. Then I'll be back.